Okay, welcome back. I ended up doing none of those steps in between the video because I realized I'm only going to be taking one turn. So I might as well go through the steps one at a time. Although there was like 20 minutes in between this video, I did take a break. Okay, so here's the thing. I don't want to draw whole hands for every single AI player just to do a final round. I am going to draw my 2 Crusade cards and play one of them. So as far as the era start goes, that's what I'm going to do. But everywhere else, though, I need to get rid of these tokens because, as you may have guessed, we have to do a refresh. All right, so Spain, Italy, Spain and Germany, and Italy again. All right, so starting with Italy, 2. Then we move on to Germany, 1, 2, 3, and I forgot this one, the whole last round, 4. Denmark, we forgot to put 1 in Denmark. Okay, so now we go to Spain. 1, 2, 3, 4, holy cow, 5 of them. And get out our trusty brown bag, shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. And we're getting out a lot of them. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I will pick up the camera and show you how it changed in a second. So we actually forgot to put somebody in Denmark the entire last round, or era. And here you can see how the tokens, there's quite a few greens out there. And so what I'm going to do for the card draw is I'm just going to roll a die, and the AI is going to just pick one of the cards based on the die. And since the AI draws 3 war cards, which is more than any other card type, 2 of the die faces are going to be for that. So they don't do taxes, for example. So this will be a 1. We skip this. This is 2 and 3. And then this is 4, and that's 5. Yeah, I think that's fair. And then a 6 will just be a reroll. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Italy is going first. And so, but before we do any of that, we got to do marriages. So Italy will try to get married. And going back to the AI, they want strong, cruel, and sword master. There is a strong right here. It is a girl, and he has, oh yeah, it's Joffredo. So Italy is going to try. And of course I spilled all my tokens. Shuffle, shuffle. So here we go, Italy. Italy succeeds. Okay, so Adelasia is going to get married to Joffredo. See, I don't even remember how to pronounce it. And then Italy gets a nice green token. France can't marry anybody, so this Crusade card is worthless. Neither can Germany. Spain desperately needs to marry someone. He is lustful after all. He wants only green traits. Well, that shouldn't be too hard. So Isabel There's two of them right in Spain itself. So Spain's yellow. So we're going to draw two. And we got a lustful. So that is a success for marriage. So both of those would have been a success. So Isabel is going to join. And that goes into his bag. All right. And then he does get a token there. All right. Italy goes first. So like I said, I'm going to just roll a die. Spare me from drawing cards. And he's going to do a develop action. And the develop action is... he's going to try to build a castle. He succeeds. And El Castillo. It's only his first one, but he gets it. And... foreign spies steal secrets from your realm. The next player gets to randomly draw one of your invention cards and take it from you. France is completely maxed out on inventions. He doesn't need room for any. So Italy doesn't lose anything. So they're done. Now we go to France. Also a 5. France is going to try to build a castle. It is possible he could try to do something else, but a castle actually scores him a victory point. So we're going to try to do that. And I'm going to draw 2. He succeeds. No, he does not succeed. Oh my gosh. Look at that. That is a critical failure. Right here. Humble. Oh no, France lost a victory point at the end of the game. And then on this, in a freak accident, a large manure pit at one of your castles explodes, laying waste to the castle. Turn it on its side. You can repair it on your next turn at the cost of 1 gold. Until you do, it has no effect. So one of his castles is out. If you're playing solitaire with 4 AI, it is really difficult to remember the rules for standing things back up. In fact, I don't even remember what I'm supposed to do to stand this back up. So I'm going to assume that it's standing back up. It may be an unfair assumption, but I'm going to go ahead and do that. The castle will not stand back up because there's not going to be another turn. I'm going to make sure of that. So here's Germany with a 2, and that is a war card. So they're going to try to invade. And they invade independent territory where another player has a pact. Nope. Invade a territory under control of the opposing player that controls the fewest territories. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3. Well, Spain has the fewest. But they only have a casus belli against France. So they're going to go ahead and invade France, and you know what they're going to do? They're going to invade that castle that's turned over. Why not? That's a perfect situation, right? It's almost really cool. So they need to have 2 successes. 1 for the knight, 1 for the foot soldier, which is always there for the AI, and they would have needed a 3rd one for the castle, but they don't need that. So there's a failure, pass, and another pass, and they needed both of those passes to win. So Germany technically, they could not have invaded me anyways because he didn't have a casus belli against me. Oh, hold on, I was looking at Italy. Germany has a casus belli against nobody. He's not invading anybody except for he's just gonna go ahead and just take, Denmark. All right, you gotta always check the right player tableau. Okay, so now it's Spain's turn, And I rolled a 4. 1, 2, 3. It's an intrigue. And Spain is interesting. I think they try to murder people. Or no, he wants to divorce his wife. I bet it is. Yep. He wants to divorce Isabel. We just got married. All right, so Isabel's divorced out of the game. And then, well, hold on. This was Germany's. It requires a child, so he doesn't have one. So that doesn't hurt him. And this one is a drought. I'm not going to bother. So we're going to just discard that. And I'm going to draw 2 Crusade cards because I'm allowed to. And I'm looking to see what I get extra tax cards. All right, so then I just pick one. And look at this sweet one, Royal Twins. 2 random character cards and then a random trait for each of them. Well, that's pretty sweet. This one, you may at any time play to negate all effects of an event on an action card. Oh, that's even sweeter, especially since I already have 2 kids. One thing I forgot to do was age everybody. So it doesn't matter because they would have 2, 2, and 2. Spain would have 1, but the big thing is I would have my 4th one again. And the only reason I'm bringing that up is because I get to get rid of one of these before we do our test. Our test to win the game. Drop stuff on the floor. So one of these red ones, Cruel actually helps me for Crusade. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of Deceitful. And remember, the black circle is the Crusader type. All right, and I definitely want to succeed. So I'm going to go ahead and spend 2 gold to do 2 extra draws, and then my Archbishop gets me a 3rd extra draw. So I'm going to be drawing 4 tokens. I just need 1 green to end this game. And take your pick there. I did quite well. So all 4 of those are a success. Okay, so what would happen then is I get King of Jerusalem, which is yet another victory point, okay, for being the one to get there. So that's another victory point, and I dominated this one. Now, I'm supposed to take that pious token over there because I took Jerusalem, but the game ends. All right, so final score. Green has 3. Italy has 3 points. 3 knights, 3 points. Spain has 2 points. Germany, 4 points. France has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, plus 1 event, or 1 achievement. 7 points for France, which isn't bad considering how bad France was at the start of the game. And then I'm at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, just from that alone. And then 8 from King of Jerusalem and 9 for Crusader. So as I told you, I won. And that wasn't even a question. So strategy-wise, if you're playing a multiplayer game, be sure to murder other people's children. Do not let them have heirs to the throne, and you will secure your path towards winning this game. And the most important development card in the game is going to be the Royal Guard. Allows you or another player to spend gold to hinder a murder action against your dynasty. That's going to be the most important card for you, is you want the Royal Guard. This one, for sure. Okay, so the game is going to be one-dimensional there. But you need to murder people. You need to get the successional crisis. That's how you win this game. And then, of course, you've got to prevent them from doing it to you. And I honestly don't know in a multiplayer game how you can make it through the whole game without it happening to you. Even with the Royal Guard, I still think people are going to be able to pull it off. The AI is simple, which is both good and bad. I found that the games can be quite entertaining, and I hope you did too through this playthrough. The AI did not always do stupid moves, and I think you noticed that whenever the rule set basically failed the AI and they were going to basically have to pass their turn, I always chose to do something for them instead. And a few times I actually trumped the AI logic and said, nope, they're going to do this. At the end there, when Germany did the attack against France, I was going to have them attack me, but they didn't have a casus belli against me. I ended up later realizing Germany had a casus belli against nobody, so they couldn't attack anybody. But since I was clearly winning the game, it would have made better sense for them to attack me than France. But it just didn't work out that way because they had no casus belli. That's it. I mean, I actually explained most of my thoughts about this game. Is it fun? Sure, it's fun. It's not like the PC game, though. The PC game has traits, yes. And this game has traits, yes. You get married, you have children, and your family dynasty is important to you. Yes, that is shared with the PC game. Glitterhoof is here. Yes. Beyond that, no. I don't find this to have much in common with Crusader Kings, the video game. Like I said, it's got a bit of an Ameritrash swing to it. The event cards are so chaotic and random when you're playing solitaire. Obviously, in a multiplayer game, people are going to handpick those cards to screw you over. And then, of course, you're going to handpick the card to screw over the next player. So in that way, it is very interesting. I think that this game is superior as a multiplayer game versus a solitaire game. But if you're interested in a solitaire game, I mean, you just saw the playthrough. Expect no worse than this, and maybe a little bit better. I think it's very easy to manage, even with 4 AI to manage. The only thing is that it takes a lot of table space, as you can see. But beyond that, I'm not going to say excellent game. I'm going to say this is middle of the road average. It has some redeeming qualities and it has some shake my head qualities, but what I run into often when I do games when they're first coming out is I run into the Kickstarter crowd. People invest a lot of money in Kickstarter games. I just did. I Kickstarted this game. When you invest a lot of money in a game, I think Kickstarter people passionately defend it's almost like you're insulting them if you tell them that they made a poor choice and they bought a game that's not, as good as you thought it would be. And as a YouTuber, I run into that, and those people get angry. How dare you sully the nature of my child, aka the game? I'll be honest. Too Many Bones is fun. I gladly kickstarted that game and Undertow. I have not ever videotaped it because I think a lot of the rules are ambiguous. And I just don't feel like arguing with people over how to interpret the rules. And the FAQ on Board Game Geek is a mile long. I think those guys have excellent quality in their components, but they have a lot to shoot for in terms of improving their organization of the player aids and the rules. Now, with that said, I'm totally happy with the way I interpret the rules, and I find the game to be fun. I'm not as interested in everybody's clarifications. So what does that have to do with this? There are Kickstarters that I love, there are Kickstarters I regret, and then there's Kickstarters that are just in between. This one isn't in between. My sons play this with me and they enjoy it. They play the computer game. And so they're really anxious for EU4, Europa Universalis, which is also going to be coming out soon from Paradox. One thing I will say is if they produce Europa Universalis and it has this kind of Ameritrashy randomness to it, I'm going to be upset. But they love this game. My kids do. And because they love it, I love it, right? Because I'm always looking for something that we can play together as a family. And when this brings them to the table, I'm happy to be at the table with them. It doesn't matter that this is swiggy and wild and random. It's a beer and pretzels game. You just have to embrace it as a beer and pretzels game, and then you're okay. The PC game is not a beer and pretzels game. It's very intense. I mean, if you ever sat down and tried to learn how to play Crusader Kings, the video game, I mean, you have to get out YouTube tutorials. It's going to take you a solid week or two before you get comfortable with that game and all the mechanics and depth to the strategy. This is nowhere near that depth of strategy. So that's it. And I don't want to be a broken record. I know I've mentioned that many times. I hope you found this helpful and useful. Sorry for the few times I had to cough. In the middle of June, it sort of stinks to have a cold, but I do. And anyways, my recommendation before I say adios is don't do scenario 1. That's only my recommendation. That's what we just did. We just did scenario 1. I recommend that you start at scenario 2 or later. And there's going to be, like in this case, scenario 3, you know, he's got a male sibling and a son and a daughter. You see, it's very nice. I like it. Also, there is one AI we didn't do. It is the Crusader. And he starts the game with the Archbishop from the start. And I don't know why it says by the Archbishop. I guess it's in case he loses it. But you can't have two. So he starts with the Archbishop from the start. And so he's going to always try to crusade twice. Now, there's a reason I didn't pick him. And the reason is the game's going to be even quicker if you have an AI player that's crusading twice an era. Or twice around, actually. So, no, twice an era. I'm sorry, twice an era. So be careful with that. I think this one would actually be a solid contender in the game, but he's going to crusade left and right. And then, of course, he goes to war with anybody who has the most dynasty shields on the crusade. I mean, he's definitely a different type of player. And then he wants the cruel trait, which, of course, helps him with crusades. I mean, he's all about the crusades. I think he's good. It's just that, in my opinion, it's going to shorten the game even more. And you saw that we did go into Era 3, but it was just a game over. And that's only because one of these players failed to do his part and do the crusade. So that's the only reason we didn't pick that AI. I think the lustful one is actually quite funny. This defensive one was Germany, and I think it's too conservative. So if anything, I think the Crusader one would be a good replacement for this. The French one, the developer, is also, I think that this one is better suited. See, because France starts in the middle of everybody, France should get the aggressive one. Since they're in the middle, they should be attacking the crap out of people. Or make France the defensive one. Since they're in the middle, they're defensive because everybody's attacking them. This one would be, so I think, tailoring the AI to where they start. Oh, I forgot to explain. What if you only wanted to do less AI? So what you do then is, if you don't start the game with Spain, for example, then all the Spanish territories are just off limits, and you play with the rest of the map. And so one of the things you have to understand is France is mandatory. You can't play without France because it leaves a big hole in the middle of the board and everybody's trying to work around it. But you could take out Germany, you could take out England, you can take out Italy, but you can't take out France. So France has to be one of the players in the game. You could even do it recommends it has to be a minimum of 3 players. So it could be yourself and 2 other AI. And so whatever 2 AI you choose not to play, you just take their whole zone and it's just out of the game. So if this was out of the game and then England was out of the game, you could have a nice 3-player game between Italy, Germany, and France. And you don't change anything in the rules in doing so. All right, that's enough rambling. Thanks for watching. Stay awesome.